Our adventure in math continues. Today we are solving inequalities using multiplication and division. So these actually look easier than most of the things we've done in the past, and they really are pretty easy to solve. So when we take a look at this, remember our inequalities are less than or greater than, less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to signs. So if I have this, my job is to figure out what b is. So I know that I'm going to use inverse operations to figure this out. And so I know that right now this is 8 times b. The inverse operation would be divide by 8. But if I do it on one side, I have to do it on the other. In the end, these will cancel out. I'm left with b is greater than 32 divided by 8 is 4. Now remember, there's an infinite number of solutions when we're working with inequalities. So we have to draw our number line. We always take the number that we found and put it in the middle, and we put one number on each side of it. And we read our inequality from the point of view of the variable, and we replace the variable with the terms all numbers. So all numbers greater than 4. Now 4 is not part of my solution, so I'm going to use an open circle. But I want all of the numbers that are greater than 4, so I'm going to then draw an arrow towards the right, showing the direction of all my answers that would make that inequality true. Now we can also have a division as well. And we again start on the side that has our variable. And I see this is u divided by 6. The inverse operation of division is multiplication. But whatever I do on one side, I want to do on the other side. So these are canceled out. I'm left with u is greater than or equal to 3 times 6 is 18. Again, I'm going to draw my number line. I'm going to put 18 in the center. I'm going to put one number on each side. I see it's also equal to, so instead of using an open circle, I'm going to use a closed circle. I read it from the side of the variable. All numbers greater than or equal to 18. I point my arrow in the direction where all those greater than numbers are. Now, the difficult part is when we have negatives, because that adds one level of complication into this. So again, we're going to start on the side that has the variable. But we remember that negatives mean opposite. So when I go and I divide both sides by a negative 6, it means I'm taking the opposite. And when you do that with inequalities, you have to reverse the direction of the inequality sign. So it goes from less than or equal to greater than or equal to. I always take a look, and whenever I see a negative, I instantly circle that inequality sign, just as a reminder to myself that I need to reverse the direction of that. Now everything else is solved pretty basically. So I know that these are going to cancel out because a negative divided by a negative is a positive. I'm just left with s. A positive divided by a negative is a negative. 54 divided by 6 is 9. I read it from the side of the variable. All numbers that are greater than or equal to negative 9. I have to draw my inequality sign. I have negative 9, negative 10, negative 8. I see that equal sign, so it's going to be a closed circle. All numbers that are greater than, the greater numbers for the negative are always towards the right, so I'd use my arrow going towards the right. If I have a division problem, again, I'm just going to multiply by whatever is attached to that variable. But if I do it on one side, I have to do it on the other, because I'm multiplying by that negative 2. I have to reverse that direction of that inequality sign. So it goes from less than to greater than. These cancel out. I'm left with v. A negative times a negative is a positive. 8 times 2 is 16. I go to graph it. I have 16, 17, 15. I know it's an open circle. It's all numbers greater than 16. I put my arrow in the direction of the greater numbers. Now it's your turn.